Hi, hello, and welcome to the Woolly Cwtches podcast. My name is Pip. Oh God, it's been over a month, I think, since I podcast last. I didn't want to leave it as long, but just seem to have had one thing after another lately. With every time I've said I'm going to podcast, something has happened. So apologies for it being a little while since I recorded, but finally got here. And I shall talk about the dramas towards the end, and if you don't want to listen you can turn off after all the knitting. So okay, what have I been knitting on? My whips. I'll try and do some sort of order. I don't know if I showed you that I'd cast this one on last time. I'll show you if it wants to come out of the bag. This is the Hipster Hat by Petite Knit pattern, and I like this fabric so far. It's nice and stretchy. It looks tiny, but yeah, it will go on the head. Doing it on DPNs because I can't remember what size needles it on, but they were all occupied with other projects. So doing the 12 cast-ons with Ange of Yarn and Yarns. I got up to 6 casts on, and then as well as all the other things I've got on the needles as well. But if you don't know the pattern, it's this one. And excuse the nails, but if I waited till they were tidy as well, maybe another month. So it's just a ribbed hat. And what's the need? Oh, 3.5mm needles, and this yarn is it's lovely, always lovely and squishy yarns from Alma's of Witch Crafty Lady. These came from. I can't remember which yarn it is. I can't find the labels. I think it's Poldale, but I'm not sure. But it's definitely from Alma's. And it's just a natural sort of almost a browny grey. I don't think it's dyed, I think it's natural. It's very soft and squishy, and it's lovely to knit with. I haven't had any of her yarns that I don't like, to be honest. And so I'm doing that one. So that's the first whip, and this was intended to knit for my husband to wear when we were in Edinburgh, but as you can see, it's not done. Pop that one back in the bag, but I have been knitting on it when I've wanted some knitting that you haven't got to concentrate on, sort of sitting around waiting for things. Take it out and about with me. I was going to do some in the car on the way up, but I ended up knitting on other things instead. And I'll talk about our trip to Edinburgh, and I'll show some of the things that I bought when I was up there. Yarny things, of course. But yeah, we loved it. It was fabulous. Just wish we'd had more time. So that is number one, and I've got to remember which bag the second one is in. I think it's this one. This bag was one from Ange of Yarn and Yarns. I've got some more bags to show you that I bought, and this is the Debbie Bliss Aymara, I think. Probably know by now I'm not very good at pronouncing things, but there we go, Debbie Bliss, and the pattern of the same. I showed this when I had just done some ribbon on it. The cardigan. I love the detail on this cardigan. And again, I am enjoying this yarn and I'm enjoying this pattern. It's a lot of knitting on the row because it's the whole thing in one, so you're going back and forth rather than in the round. But I'm pleased so far with how it's coming out. The yarn is showing the stitches off lovely, and I think it was where that stitch marker was when I showed it last. So this was most of my car knitting. It took us 8 hours up and 8 hours back, so I had plenty of time for knitting. Hubby did all the driving. I did offer, but he's so relaxed driving, he doesn't get tired. If I drive for 2 hours and I've had enough, then I start yawning my head off. So that's my second whip, and again, I'm really enjoying that. Where should I put them? Put it down that side. I was going to sit in a different place, but it's easy here with the desk and have everything around me. And I thought, oh, I'll sit in the dining room because there's a table in there. But at the moment, I decided to go through my mum's photos, sorting through what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep, because there's awful lot that they took of views of places that I haven't got a clue where they were when they were on holiday, so they're not important to me to keep. So I've been thinning them out and also writing on some of them so that we remember who they are in them, because there's a lot of the grandparents, great grandparents, etc. in there that if I'm not around, my children won't know who they are. So I've been writing, you know, almost like a little family tree to go with the photos. So that's been interesting, pulling out some. Most of them I've seen before, but there was a few in there that I haven't seen, and it's like walking down memory lane with them. Oh, that colour of that yarn is steel. It's the Debbie Bliss yarn that goes with the cardigan, and it is 03 steel is the colour. I don't know if they still make it. I should have looked, but I don't. But yeah, it's the anyway, it's colour steel. Right, what else? Oh, the thing I'm most enjoying and struggle to put down, so it's just one more row, is the Moby sweater by Petite Knit. And how I ended up doing this one was I applied for to be a test knitter. I wasn't going to test knit anymore because I did a test knit once for somebody else, and I'd already done one for that person, and she actually asked me if I would be willing to be a tester for the second one, and I should have said no really, but I didn't like to, so I said yes. But at the time Mum was quite poorly and I had some shoulder complications and I didn't get it finished in time, and even though I apologized and whatnot, I never ever heard back, didn't get an answer or anything. So it kind of put me off a bit because I felt bad about it. So I did say at the time I wasn't going to do another test knit. But then I love Rebecca's patterns, Rebecca of the Crayer Bears, I've said before, and with her latest one, I want to say the Lauder, I think it's the Lauder's the cable one that probably everybody's seen on Instagram and on YouTube, and I just loved all the cables in it. And when we were in Edinburgh, I bought West Yorkshire Spinners Croft yarn in hope of getting in on the test call, but unfortunately I didn't. I mean, she was inundated, so you know, it was wishful thinking that I would get in. But of course I had a cable sweater in mind and was itching to cast on a cable sweater, so I liked this pattern, which is Petite Knit, the Moby sweater. And this yarn is also a lovely, it's rustic, but it's not, it is soft, and I think, you know, it's going to block out even better. But I love the detail. I love this crisscross at the front and the back, and it's an interesting construction. I don't know if I can say too much because but basically you start on the back and then work forward, then you join in the round and go down. I hadn't done a construction like that before, so that was interesting. But this yarn is lovely, and sometimes it looks, when it's all scrunched up on the knee, I think it's not going to fit, but yeah. I think it is. It's just typical cables. Should hopefully block out nicely, but yeah, I'm finding it hard to put this one down because the yarn again is lovely on the needles. I'm really thoroughly enjoying the pattern. Now it's stuck to my lip. That's because I put some lip salve on. My lips are so dry. But yes, and the double moss stitch on the side is nice. I haven't done a double moss stitch before. I've done lots of moss stitch, but I haven't done double moss stitch before. There's lots of detail, but once you get going, it is very intuitive, so you don't have to be looking at the pattern all the time. And then that's the back seam. I don't think I think it's too bad. So yeah, and that is okay. Read it through the plastic. Sorry about the crunch. Sullom, Sullom, Sullom 010, and it is 100% Shetland wool, and very nice too. I have knit with Croft before, but I've knit with a coloured one, and I don't remember it feeling as nice as this. I did a little cardigan, a West Yorkshire spinners in their pattern book a couple of years ago, but yeah, can't put this one down. So that's another work in progress that hopefully won't take too long now. I'm just doing that bit and then the sleeves. Pop him back in the bag out the way. This bag could do the wash as well. It's a bit grubby carrying them around in this house with the dogs and the cats, and everything gets dusty and grubby. To empty him out and give him a wash. So right, that's that. I've also, oh, it's in that bag as well, sorry about that. Pull that one out the way. I've also got this one on the needles, which is the Ashmore. I don't know if you can see, it's a lace cardigan. And this is by Martin Storey. And it's, yeah, that's pretty much the colour. I call that teal. I've pretty much done the back. It'll be a nice spring cardigan, sort of summer evenings cardigan. That one also on the needles, and that again is enjoyable knit, and it's knitting up quite quickly. So hopefully I shall, I did do a bit of this in the car as well. I got a little bit fed up on the other one for a change. I changed over and knit on this one, and what else did I knit on in the car? Some socks, I think. So I had plenty of time just to sit and knit and take the views in on the way. Once you get it past, I think it's Manchester, Spaghetti Junction, once you get on it past there, the scenery changes, and the further up obviously you get, the prettier it is. And I'm trying to think of the word I want. The geography changes, and you start seeing the hills and sort of more valleys up and down, and it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. What haven't I showed? Oh, I finished my my rug jumper by Junko Okamoto. I was knitting on this one last time, and I finished this, and I'm really pleased with it. It's a nice one to wear on top of, you know, instead of wearing a coat, just a big slouchy jumper. It's the type of jumpers I love. You know, a cold day, just putting on a nice warm jumper. And I love knitting with the Manchelopis. It is a lot softer than Plutalopi, and it's different. It's more rounded. I don't know how to describe it really. Plutalopi, I love the rusticness of it, and it is quite sort of hairy, so it is prickly. Whereas this, it's more, the fibres are more rounded, as you can see there, so it's squishier and definitely softer. And I think you could wear it next to skin, whereas I wouldn't think with the Plutalopi, it doesn't bother me if it's touching my neck too much, but I think as you got warm, it would get pricklier. I've always worn it for outside on a cold day, so or on top of something, whereas this I think you could wear, as long as you're not overly sensitive. I think you could wear this next to skin without a problem. It is a lot softer, and I have desperately been wanting to try oh gosh, the word's gone now. Come on. The other unspun. I've just ordered some. It's gone out of my head. Anyway, I've ordered some. Normally it sells out quite quickly, but I actually saw when they were doing the shop update, and I set an alarm so I didn't forget, and I managed to order a sweater's worth, so hopefully that won't take too long to come through. I ordered about a week ago, I think. Oh, come on, what is it? It'll come to me. When I'm talking about something else, it'll suddenly come to me. So I've ordered that to give that a try, because I've been itching to try that one, as I've tried the Plutalopi and I've tried the Manchelopis. I think it's going to be more like a Plutalopi yarn. I'm pretty sure it's going to be more the feel of a Brutalopi than the Manchelopis, but be interesting and to try and see what it's like. So that's my finished one, the rug. I'm pleased with that. And the weather's got milder, so I haven't worn it yet. I've tried it on around the house, but I haven't worn it out yet. And I finished, I showed these socks before. The one was done and the other one was part done, so I made myself finish them. So I've got another pair of socks, and I'm really pleased with, I mean, it's pretty close, isn't it, the match? And I didn't do anything. I just knitted it as it was, as it came off the ball. And it's quite, you know, I don't mind if they're mismatched anyway. I'm not the type who has to match things up. Quite often wear odd socks. But it is pretty close, which is quite cool. And so that's that pair I finished. And then this pair as well. Now this pair is just wool. And I'm pretty sure I got this wool from Wool Matters when I went to Alternate Universe yarn shop in Clevedon. Yeah, it is Clevedon. They actually had Wool Matters, like a table with a display of her yarn on there. She's a natural yarn dyer from the Bristol Clevedon area. And I bought some minis of hers, I think, and I bought this, and I don't know again, because I've had this 2-3 years. It was my birthday, I can't remember which one, when I went there and I bought it, and God knows what I've done with the label, but I know it was wool and there was no nylon or anything in it. So I want to see how it wears. And it's see on there, it's quite a dark brown. And I wish I still could find the label. It's here somewhere because I don't throw them out, but I don't know where. It's probably in another bag and I'll come across it, another project bag. I'll probably grab these out to work on them and have put them back in the same project bag. So it should be here somewhere. And I can't remember what the colour was called, but it was definitely wool without any nylon in. And I thought, well, donkey's years ago when they used to hand knit socks, they wouldn't have been nylon in them then, they would have just been with wool. So, and I don't really wear these sort of socks, the really thick ones inside my boots. I wear them more around the house on days when I'm not going out, because they are a bit too thick to go in my boots. So like the other ones, I mean, these are thinner, a lot thinner, they'll go in my boots, but a couple I've got with mohair and things that are thicker, I just wear them for around the house. And the one is definitely a bit bigger than the other. Or was it just because it's been on the, one of them was on the blocker. So I shall let you know how it wears. But hopefully, because I'm not going to wear them in boots, they shouldn't wear too badly. I'm really getting to like wearing homemade socks. I just need to get on with doing the second pair. I've got another two pairs on the needle. The one I'm working on, the second one. The other one I'm just on the first one. There's one of the casts on. So the second pair is what I call the licorice all sort pair that I'm working on. So I need to get on with them so I can have some more of my own socks. Right, what else have I got? That and that. Right, I have a fail. I have a complete and utter fail. I watched a podcast and it was a new to me podcast, and I can't remember what her name was. I need to hopefully find her again, because I liked what she was doing, and I must have been so busy knitting that I didn't click on subscribe. And I'm hoping that it was one of those where they pop up recommended to watch, and I'm hoping one pops up again. And anyway, she had knit it, and I thought, oh, I like that. And it is the Rosental Sweater. The Rosental Sweater, which is a lacy sweater by Ekaterina. Cannot read. Ekaterina. Can you pick it up there? Because I can't. And on Instagram it's This Cozy Nest. And I love the pattern, but I can't do it. I can't understand it. You've got a chart for the main pattern, and then you've got a chart for the short rows main pattern, and the numbers don't add up with what they're telling you to do. And it's got to be me, because like I said, I saw this this other girl had done it, and it was beautiful. And I started on the short rows, and hers was in a fluffy version, and I've got this fake mohair that I've been wondering what to use, and actually it's not bad at all. It's acrylic, but it doesn't have a bad feel to it, and I bought it off Temu. I thought I kept seeing the yarns on there, and I thought, oh, blow it, they're so cheap, I'm going to give them a go. And actually they're not bad at all. It's called mohair, it's diamond mohair. I got this colour as well. I haven't got enough to do it all in one colour, but I'm going to do it in stripes. Or I was going to do it in stripes. I thought that would make a nice spring sort of colours. And I think it's, what's it say it is? It's acrylic. 40% acrylic, 60% imitation wool. Imitation wool, pure acrylic fibre, 60%. So I don't know why they've got acrylic and then pure acrylic. But actually it doesn't feel too bad. It feels quite nice on the needles to knit with. It's quite soft. So it's not bad to knit with at all. I don't think it is. But yeah, I'm going to have to frog it and find another pattern, because I have just completely failed. I am just not. I have tried. I've read it. It says to read the whole pattern. I read the whole pattern. I've come back and forth to it, and I've like looked at it at night and thought, right, put it down, leave it till tomorrow, look at it with a fresh brain. Nope. Can't even understand the diagrams that go with it. Just don't seem to make sense. Where your beginning of the row marker is as to where the beginning of the row marker is on the stitch count. Nope. So I failed miserably on that one. So that was going to have to be frogged, unless anybody else has knit it and says, oh, you're doing this. Because it's probably quite simple, and I don't know, probably trying to make it a lot harder than it actually is. But no, I just can't make head and tail of it. So it's either throw it in the cupboard and forget about it, or frog it. And I thought I want to have a go at doing another lacy one in that yarn now. I got it in my head, so I'm going to frog it and find another pattern, and hopefully I can do that one. Anyway, another finished object is another crochet headband. I made some of these at Christmas for my granddaughters have riding lessons and the teachers. So I made 3 at Christmas, and the last time we went, the one was wearing hers, and she said she loves it, and she said the only problem is, she said it's stinking, it needs to be washed, but she wants to wear it all the time because it was keeping her ears warm. So I said no problem, I'll make another one. And so it's only God knows what this yarn is. I found it in my scraps bag. Do you know what? I can't even remember what I've made previously. I've probably made hats. I probably made hats and given them away for charity. It's soft, and she loves pink. Her hair's pink most of the time, this teacher. And the last one I made for her was pink, so I'll make one with different colours in, and then she's got 2 to I'll probably make another one as well because they don't take long. And then she got a couple to throw in the washing machine while she's wearing the other one. So I've done that one as well. And oh, my last whip. I had to join in, didn't I, with everybody else. And my grandson that is autistic, he absolutely loves soft toys. He loves his soft toys. And I saw the hang on a minute, let me get the pattern out. Emotional support chicken, and I just thought how fantastic. I've seen other emotional support sort of small soft toys, but when I saw the chicken, I just thought it's great. So ta-da! My chicken sofa. And there's my chicken. So just on the neck, I put a bit more stripes in just to make sure I don't run out of this colour. I think I've got plenty of it, but I wanted a bit more of this colour in. I like this colour with the other one, so. And it's really funny knitting on these needles after everything I've knit on for the last few years has been on circulars. And again, trying to find circulars that weren't already being used in the right size, because I think these are 4.5, yeah, millimeters. God knows what they are in American, sorry. Oh, I don't know. It says UK 7. I suppose that's in the old sizes. It's probably the old sizes, 4.5 millimeters. I don't know if American knitting needles are a different size into ours. It's not just the crochet hooks. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what they are. But yes, so you can see the shape. It's interesting how you get the shape. And I'm actually quite liking this yarn. It does feel like a cotton on your needles. It's a lot thinner than I thought it would be for it's supposed to be an Aran. But that feels more like a DK to me. But it is listed as an Aran, and it does say to use 5mm needles for it. And this is King Cole Forest, and it's recycled Aran, and it's 35% wool, 20% acrylic, 20% polyamide, and 25% viscose. And it feels more like a wool cotton blend. You can feel it woolly, but on the needles it feels like you're knitting with cotton. It's flat like cotton. But I bought the yarn because I didn't have enough scraps. I might have had enough of one, but not enough to blend together for the different colours needed in the chicken. So I thought, oh, it was quite reasonable in price, so I bought them. And I thought, if I enjoy knitting this, which I am, I'm going to knit another one. So I thought it's worth buying them, because I'll just reverse, then I'll use that one as the main colour, that one as the second colour, or even maybe one of the others. And then I also bought this one and this one. So you've got the beak, and then you've got the crown. So put those back in there. I think that is all my knitting. Everything I have done lately. And this is fun. Anybody thinking about doing it? It's interesting construction. So it's just, I crochet together there. You can either stitch it together or crochet it. But I think the crochet gives a nice nice effect because it's on the outside. Oh, it was Cheva's a Chevy Rail podcast. Hers was the first one I saw, but I've seen loads pop up now. Oh God, what's her name from Mousy Makes has made one. I think she made two actually. I've seen lots of them on Instagram. So I'm hoping I can finish the chicken tonight and get it stuffed, because it's George's birthday on the 24th, so it'd be nice to give it to him for his birthday. He saw me making it. I tried to hide the blooming pattern from him. He was here and he saw it, but he doesn't know it's for him. So right, some chitty chatty, and said we went to Edinburgh, and I absolutely loved it. It was bitter cold. It was during those high winds. It took us longer to get up there. Excuse me whilst I have a sip. I love this mug. It's St. Andrew's pottery. Actually, when I went to Alternate Universe, we also went into Clevedon, and they bought this then. So it was a little present to myself on my birthday. It wasn't this actual mug. And I loved it, and unfortunately I smashed it. And luckily the bottom part was still intact and I could see where I bought it from. So I managed to go online and order another one. So this is mug number 2. And I really like it. My mum was alive at the time and she was like, it's not a mug, it's a jug. I said, it's not a jug, it's a mug. That's not a mug, that's a jug. I said, well, I haven't got a lip on it. So I had to bring it up on the website then, to show her that they were listed as mugs, because she wouldn't have it. I was like, no, we'd have a lip if it was a jug, because it is jug shaped. So it's St. Andrew's pottery. I love pottery. Right, okay, what was I going to show you? Oh yes, when we went to Edinburgh, there was there was definitely one yarn shop I wanted to go to, which was Ginger Twist. And then Leslie from Not Enough Yarns or Knitting or Death on Instagram, and Not Enough Yarn on podcast. She suggested Be Inspired Fibres as well. So I went to Ginger Twist first, and to be truthful, I probably expected it to be better than I found it myself personally. I mean, I know a lot of people absolutely love it. I expected there to be more of an array of yarns. There was a huge wall, because I know they've moved to new premises. I'm not sure how long ago they moved, but I know fairly recently they've moved to new premises. And there's a whole wall of her own hand-dyed yarns, but the colours didn't grab me. Everybody's got their own preference. They just didn't grab me. And she had some nice yarn there, but nowhere near as much as I expected there to be and choice. And I kind of struggled to buy something, which is rare. The colours I went for, which again are unusual for me, I bought 4 of these. Not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. And I bought 1 of these. And I'm not going to do them together because they're different weights, but these just grab me. And a lot of it is I just want to go in and feel yarns that I've heard about or haven't even heard of. I want to see different stuff. And I haven't used this before, and I haven't felt it before. And this is BC Garn, Northern Lights, this one. And I would say this is an Aran weight. I would say this is a nice Aran weight, or a worsted weight. If you're in America, it's worsted weight, isn't it? We call it Aran over here. There's so many weights of yarn. I mean, when I started knitting, as far as I'm aware, there was 4. There's 4-ply, which was very fine. DK, and it's funny because I didn't like knitting with 4-ply at all, and a lot of the baby patterns back then were in 4-ply. I liked DK and I liked Aran, and now probably my preference is 4-ply. But 4-ply, DK, Aran and Chunky were the 4 main groups, and now you've got sport, worsted, fingering. There's so many different ones. This is Northern Lights, and this is 80% pure organic wool and 20% silk. And the colour is there a name? Doesn't seem to be a name. There's just, it says F19 or PSB 12491. So I don't know if the colour is 19. Can you see on there? Right there. But yeah, I like that. It what do you call it, sort of motley. And again, it feels a bit cottony, not as fluffy as wool would normally, you know, because it's pure organic wool and silk. It does feel kind of cottony, but nice. So that's the one. And then this one is also BC Garn and similar melange. Two lights on today, so sorry if there's a shade, but it's so dark outside and dreary. It looks like it's going to rain again. And this is 100% organic wool, and the colour is number 25. It's funny how it's marked different on here. What's that? Reading it right. Yeah, it doesn't say colour on this one. But it does on this one. The same yarn. So it's quite a rich colour. So probably going to work this into a jumper somewhere. Use this as some colour work. It's not enough to make a jumper for me. But anyway, bought those. And then I had a big splurge in Be Inspired. Now I could spend all day in that shop and I could have spent an absolute fortune. It was like an Aladdin's cave of yarn. And she was so lovely and called a taxi for us afterwards. I bought 14, I think, of these. Now I don't know why I was thinking it. I'd worked out in Drops Daisy how many I would need to do I think it's the Lauder jumper by Rebecca, the Crayon Bear, that I said I applied to test knit. And I just said the same amount I needed in this, but I didn't check the yardage or anything. So I've obviously got way too much because like knitting that other one. So anyway, I love it and it's going to keep me a while, so I'm going to be able to make a few jumpers in it. Because I haven't even touched these 2 packs yet. And I think I've only 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 14. So there's 10 here and 4, and I haven't even used all the 4 yet in that one. So yeah, it's going to keep me busy, isn't it? I don't know what I was thinking, but husband nearly fell on the floor and I bought it all mine. I used to smoke and I used to drink, and I don't do any of those now, so I just splurge out on yarn. And it's sock yarn. Oh God, Admiral Melange. I can't even pronounce that. I like the feel of this, and I love the colour. It's a really rich brown. And this is 100 grams and it's 420 meters, 75% virgin wool and 25% nylon. So it's perfect sock yarn, and it's not a bad feel either. So that one is, oh God knows what that is. Chappelle, is it? Chappelle. If anybody recognises it. She's probably got it on her website. I can't remember her name, but she was absolutely lovely. This one, once I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. This is the Fibre Co. It's a fingering weight, and it's Cumbria Unto the Hills, and it's a navy. That's beautiful. Again, I don't know what it's going to be. It's just one of those ones I picked up and that was it. It was coming home. And the colour is CUF 048 or Derwent Water. You can see. And it's beautiful. I really like soft, and I like that a lot. It's that one. And then I did Splurge. It's another 2. And this one again, this is Tibetan cloud worsted. And it's 100% Tibetan yak. And I've not knitted with yak. I've not owned a yak before. So again, this was coming home with me. It's just as well I don't go to yarn shops very often. It is a holiday treat. And it was our 40th wedding anniversary, so that was my excuse. So a little holiday treat. And this one, last but not least, is 50% alpaca, 50% wool. It's called Alpaca 2 by Aysega. And again, this is just beautifully soft. And I think at the time I thought it would have gone with one of these, should I want to do something with those 2. I don't know, but they're going in my stash and they'll be there then when the project comes up. And in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy them as they are. I thought they were beautiful. So I was very lucky, very spoilt. That and going to Edinburgh and having some nice food. And I can't think, I meant to write it down. I can't think of the name of it, but oh my God, I had a pudding there. And I shouldn't have had one because we'd had a meal. But there was apple pie on the menu. And if there's apple pie on the menu, hubby's got to have it because he loves it. And apple pie, apple crumble, those sort of puddings. And he was having an apple pie and I ummed and ahed. And it was a Scottish... Oh, my friend that's Scottish would tell me straight away what it is. I can't think what it is, but anyway, it was layers of like cream and raspberry. And you're probably all telling me what it's called now. And there's whiskey in it. Oh my God, it was to die for. It was absolutely gorgeous. But I shouldn't have eaten it because I'd eaten enough and it kept me up. At like 12 o'clock, I was still awake with a full tummy. Just couldn't go to sleep because I just felt sick. It's a bit of a pig having that, but it was nice, very nice. Oh God, I can't think what it's called. Oh, I'm useless, aren't I? Useless with names. Hey ho. And then the other day, I decided to treat myself and have my hair cut. I normally cut it myself or get my daughter to lop it. So I decided I wanted to, because before we went to Edinburgh, I said to her, can you chop a load off? And you're not a hairdresser, you know, at all. And I'm trying to give her instructions. And this side ended up shorter than this side. So then I cut this side, and whereas I like it straight across the back, it went, because she had cut it straight, but slanted down, and then I'd cut here, but I couldn't get to there. So it was a bit of a, and luckily, because normally I just leave it curly, it doesn't notice, but I was aware of it. So I thought, right, I'm going to treat myself and go, my fringe needs cutting. And I thought, I'm going to go and get it cut. So I went to ask. And I also knew that there was a new Welsh wool shop in Usk, which I hadn't been in. I'd seen it driving past, but I hadn't been in. So I wanted to go and have a look. And she had some beautiful hand knitted jumpers and just Welsh wool products in there. But she also had some, only a small amount of Welsh wool from local people who've had their own wool milled. So I went in and had a look, and I did buy some wool in there. Yeah, and it's just called Monmouthshire wool. And a lovely lady, very clever at drawing. She did a lot of artwork on the walls. But this one, which is Valley, but it's value wool, as in value wool, Romney, and it's rustic. 100 grams was £12, and as if I haven't got enough in this colour already, but I think it's a DK, is it? Yeah, it's a bit plump for a full ply, so maybe on the thicker side of a full ply, but yeah, I would say more of a DK with that one. And then this one, just natural colours of the wool. This one's more rustic, more more of a crunch. I'm trying to think how to describe it. This one's definitely softer, and it's got a bit of a halo, if you can see the halo on it. And this one is it was 54 grams, 183 meters. It was £8.50. This one's natural 4-ply, curly mob flod, FLODE, flod, 100% wool. So I like that one. I thought it was interesting. I like finding wools that I haven't used before. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It'll end up in something, but I just thought it was interesting. And I like to support local farms and businesses. And then this one is 100% wool from naturally coloured sheep, 100 grams of double knitting, and it was £12.50, which I thought was a bargain. 100 grams. Again, natural, uncoloured. And I cannot pronounce that nice Welsh word. I don't know if you can see it. Help. I don't know if it does. Back up there at the way. Oh no, it's trying to, anyone with wearing glasses with lights, they probably have exactly the same problem. You need the light, but then yeah, it just reflects in. Oh, I shouldn't have moved it, should I? So silly. Reflects in your glasses, but yes, I cannot pronounce that. Cwtches. It's Cwm, it's CWM CHWEFRU wool. A nice Welsh wool. So yes, I bought those three, and then oh, apart from my bags, so that's all my acquisitions. Back in the bag. And then the only other things I bought was 2 new project bags, again with all the casts on. I ran out of project bags, and as I've said before, I love these bags by Emma Ball, and went on Angie's Yarn and Yarns website and purchased 2 more of these, which I think are an absolute bargain. these drawstring bags. So I'm collecting them, I think. I've got most of the different sides. Stitch birdies, this one is. Stitch birdies. And of course I've got to have the butterflies as well. Lovely butterflies. So I treated myself to 2 new project bags. Don't know why I'm treating myself. I don't deserve it. This one's got Eric Heyman on it. It's an Emma Ball bag, but I think the design is by him. And these are such reasonable bags. Is it £13 something each? And they're lined. I just think they're marvellous. I think that's it. So a little bit more about Edinburgh if you want to listen. We were right by the castle. So if you know Edinburgh, if you've been, there's what's called the Royal Mile. And at the end of the Royal Mile then there's like a little road goes up to the castle entrance, and we were here. So we were looking at the lane and the castle entrance, couldn't have been any closer. And it's what's called the upper bow. You got the lower bow, which is Victoria Street, which is beautiful, very oldie worldy, cobbled street, oldie worldy shops. A lot of them were Harry Potter themed, because apparently J.K. Rowling would sit in the one cafe there when she was writing some of the Harry Potter. I don't know how much of them, and they've actually got one of, you know, her desk is sort of set up with a picture frame and whatnot in the cafe. We went in for breakfast the one morning. There's an upstairs one called the Elephant something, and it's nice. We just had Danish pastries that morning. We'd had cooked breakfast the previous morning, and I wanted to go in the cafe. And it was a nice oldie worldy sort of cafe. Even the toilets were pretty with the old-fashioned china sinks, and it was cute. So we had breakfast in there the one morning, and the street and the shops were very pretty. And you literally that row was here, and you could go up, you could walk round, sort of like a triangle, and walk round, or there were steps going up. So we went up the steps onto the level, and then that was at this end of the street, and just only maybe 200 meters at most to our front door. And I saw Blackfriars Bobby. I loved the castle. We might wanted to hear the gun go off at 1 o'clock. They fired the gun, and we stood. There was like a not a rope around. We stood by there, and the closer it got to 1 o'clock, a chap came out and moved us all back to behind another red tape. And you could hear everybody moaning, oh, why have we got to stand back here? You know, health and safety gone mad. Why have we got to stand all the way back here when the gun fired? And it's lucky we weren't stood any closer. We'd all be deaf by now. God, was it loud. It didn't look that big. You didn't expect it to be that loud. And I thought, oh, they've probably moved us back just in case something shoots off the gun, you know, God forbid. But I thought if something shoots off. But no, I think if you were any closer, you wouldn't have any hearing. And then they have a very impressive building, kind of like a chapel at church building, big long building. And it's a memorial to the war. And in there is all the names of, there's everything from all the different sections, even to the animals, the nurses. There's part of it dedicated to each one. And the books, you're not allowed to touch the books, but the books were big books and they were everywhere. I didn't count them, but there was an awful lot of books that's got all the names in. So if you'd lost your grandfather or somebody, you could ask them, give them the name, and they will find his name in the book, which I thought was marvellous. And the artwork in there, depicting all the different, like the Red Cross scenes of them. There was a big, it wasn't a flat picture, it was almost a 3D. It was, you'd have to go to see it to appreciate it. It was beautiful. If a memorial can be beautiful, it was a lovely way to remember those that have been lost. Mike and I spent quite a while in there looking around and reading the different plaques on the wall. Very interesting, very moving. I felt quite coming out of there. The amount of people, a lot of people are lost in war, but when you see it like that, it's tremendous. And they also had the Scottish crown jewels. Now that was interesting in the way it was done. As you're walking around, the walls portray a story, and it went from almost like a flat picture to partly 3D to a bit more to almost the whole thing, and then a model statue, and there's the story you could read on the wall as you walked around. And again, it was of different Mary Queen of Scots and things. It was very interesting. The jewels were very impressive. You weren't allowed to take any photos in there. In fact, I heard them asking somebody to put their phone away, so you had to have your phone in your bag or in your pocket, which I suppose is not surprising. You can use your phone outside in the castle grounds, but they don't like you using your phone inside. And I don't know if that's just for security or I'm not sure, but yeah. But it was lovely. It was very impressive. Even as you looked over one of the walls and you looked down, there was a graveyard for a lot of the soldiers' dogs, which I thought was lovely, dedicated to the servicemen's dogs, which was very sweet and just nice to see that, they were respected as well. And the views from up there were fantastic. It's set up. The wind was howling, absolutely howling. I had my big thick jumper on that I knit, big thick Aran jumper on, which I was just going to wear with a scarf, but I ended up with two shawls on, a big thick jumper and my coat. It's like walking around. It was bitter, but oh God, so worth it. But the views were fantastic from up there. Definitely recommend seeing the castle if you go there. And the other was the museum. The castle isn't free to go in, but the museum is. And I think it's 4 or 5 floors in the museum. Very, very well done. Very interesting. Not boring at all. Very, very interesting. All sorts in there. That was fantastic. Mike and I both enjoyed that. There was things that I liked seeing, things he liked seeing, especially in the motor part for him. And then the stuffed animals and things in the there was a giraffe, elephants, lions, all sorts of animals in there, and I think most of them were stuffed. I don't think all of them were real, but fantastically done. Of course, it asked you not to touch, and I was desperate to touch the lion. I wanted to see if they're as soft as they look, but I did resist the temptation because I thought, no, it is disrespectful to touch, and you are, if everybody touches it, then it is going to get wear and tear, and it won't be as nice for other people to see. But I was itching. I was like, anybody watching? But that was fabulous. I saw Blackfriars Bobby. We definitely want to go again. There's so much more to see that we didn't have time to see. And the only downfall was, and we very nearly didn't stay, when we arrived, we did this 8-hour journey up and found where our apartment was, to find, I counted them, 76 steps. 76 steps up. I never realised that Edinburgh is as high as it is. Most of the buildings are 5-6 storey, and we were on the top floor, which was fantastic for the views, and the apartment was very cute. It's a luxury apartment. I wouldn't have called it luxury, but it definitely was cosy and cute, and we did like the apartment. Would stay in it again if it wasn't for the steps, and the hallway let it down. It was a bit, I suppose because they're all different owned, they all had different front doors. Some were nice, some were shabby. The stairs and the stairway desperately needed TLC. It wasn't dirty, but it was shabby and crumbling, like damp crumbling parts, which really let the stairway down. And when we first arrived, you're like, oh. And the apartment was nice, but the thought then of going back down to the car and carrying the luggage up, and we sat in the car and we were like, do we find a hotel? And just think, sod it, we're not staying there, we'll find somewhere else to stay, because Mike's waiting for knee replacement surgery. I'm riddled with arthritis. Just the stairs, and knowing that we're going to be out walking up, you know, best part as much as we can for the day, and then go back to that. And we sat in the car for ages looking at places, and the position of where it was perfect. It was smack bang where you want to be, on the Royal Mile, right up by the castle, sort of in the middle of everything. And we thought, oh well, we'll just give it a go for the first night, because we were already late getting up there. And bless Michael for carrying the suitcase up the stairs. I struggled just carrying the bags that we had. But yeah, those stairs nearly crippled us for the days we were there. It's one thing to look out for. Make sure what floor you're on, or make sure you're very fit. You're gonna be. There was no lift. It was the stairs, and that was it. So that was the only downfall really of our stay was the bloody stairs. That were awful. By the time I got up there, knackered. Especially like if you came off Victoria Street. We went down to eat the one night. We came up the steps rather, which quite steep steps, onto our road, which again was a steepish road, to get to our building, and then the thought of 76 steps going. I was like, I lost the will to live. I'm not going to be out all day. I'm cold. I just want to get up to the apartment. So that was the only downside. The rest of it was absolutely fantastic, and I definitely want to go again and see more of it. And it was everything and more than I expected. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'd like to go there. The parks in the middle look gorgeous as well. So if you go there in better weather, it'd be nice to sit and chill and just take it all in there. But the people were fab. Everywhere we went, everybody was very friendly. In the cafes, they were very friendly. Our taxi drivers were fantastic. Chatted to us no end. Only the one chap I struggled. He had a very broad Scottish accent, so I did struggle to understand a lot what he said, but he was so friendly. And we even had, because the first night we were there, we had the stairs to contend with. We parked the car on a single yellow line, which you can park there at night until 8:30 in the morning. by the time we'd sorted the suitcases and everything else, we thought, do we risk it? Do we leave it there? And we were like, oh, I'm not going out to look for a car park now and then having to, because that's the only thing, you don't need a car there at all. It's a hassle, really. And I'm not going out to look for where we can park the car and leave it. So we both decided, yeah, we'll just leave it there. And we would just walk into the car in the morning to go and move it, and it was about 10 o'clock at the time we'd got up now. And we'd been for breakfast, and we thought we'll move the car now, find somewhere we can park it now and leave it until we're ready to go home. And there was a ticket warden there, and Mike said to him, oh, is it too late to move it? And I've never known a ticket warden so friendly. He's like, should have moved this by 8:30 this morning. We were like, yeah, we didn't arrive till late last night. We weren't sure because there was no sign, and there wasn't any signs up saying. It was only because I pulled it up on Google that it said that a single line you can park from, I think it was 6:30 at night to 8:30 in the morning. And no, he was great. He told us where we could go and park and where it was safe-ish. He said don't leave anything on display, but yeah, you know, in the car park, which was just a bit further down the road, the other side of the castle from us. And we left the car there, £35 a night to leave it there. So yeah, that wasn't cheap. But the nicest traffic warden I've ever met, because nobody like started writing it, now you're having your parking ticket whether you like it or not. And no, he was fine. He very helpful actually. So the people there, brilliant, really, really nice. Everywhere we went, he was very friendly, very happy. It was great. So that was nice part. Not so nice part is my fridge packed in. Luckily I've got a small one in the garage, which is alright for the milk and things, but yeah, I usually keep everything in the fridge. All my pickles and things are in the fridge. And we had somebody out. He basically said it wasn't worth repairing, that we'd need a new one. Then they decided they weren't going to give us a new one. They sent another person out who fitted a new compressor. And of course, each time you're waiting on phone calls, then you're waiting on them to come, because they only tell you it's going to be that day. They don't give you a time. So twice now, he came out and fitted the compressor, said, yeah, it's all, put this computer on, all fine now, just give it time to get down in temperature and you'll be fine. Nope, still not working. So we've had to wait another week. Somebody's supposed to be coming out on Monday again, so it's driving me nuts not having a fridge. I had to throw out quite a few things that, you know, you open, that once you've opened you've got to keep in the fridge. Well, they just didn't have enough room in the little fridge. So that's been a waste. Daughter was she still ill. So I ended up spending a day in the Grange, which is the local sort of A&E hospital, big hospital, which is newly built and is absolute rubbish. The car park isn't the A&E car park. There is a big car park elsewhere, but obviously when we went, she was sent in with suspected meningitis, so obviously it was quite an emergency. Trying to get a car park there. A&E is way too small. Everybody was stood up around the walls because all the seats were taken. They were stood up waiting outside. It's just ridiculous. They got a junior doctor strike, so she was in there for the day on a drip and doing different tests, but it was just a really bad case of flu. So she's still poorly with that, but thank God it wasn't meningitis. That was worrying. And so I've had my grandson, and I've had grandchildren off and on different days. The other day before half term I had my other grandchildren because there was a teacher training day, so been busy with those things. It just seems to have been one thing after another. Something's happened. had a close friend of the family die. It was one of my mum's close friends, and it hit me quite hard after losing Mum, because it's like there's only one left now. I call Auntie Pam. She's not my blood aunt, but I always called them, because I sort of grew up with them, called them aunties. And we were all very close when we were little. And there's only Auntie Pam left now, and Auntie Pam's 92. So losing Auntie Mary, and I didn't expect it. She'd been in hospital a couple of days, but I didn't expect her to die. So we've had that, and we had the funeral, and that did upset me. I think it's just the end of that era, the end of, I said, there's only Auntie Pam left now. All my real aunts and uncles have gone, and they're just the last of Mum's close friends that I've known all my life, really. So yeah, there's been lots of things happened. Like I said, each day I've thought I'm going to do something. Something's happened. So I think that's all the waffle. I don't think I've got anything else to tell you. What have I been? The only book really is there was a book in the apartment we stayed in Edinburgh, which is the lives of the 5 women that were killed by Jack the Ripper. And I started reading that, so it's all the background of them, because all we were told was that they were hookers. It's not technically so with the first one that I'm reading about. I haven't long started it. I saw it there, and I read a little bit of it there, and it interested me, so I ordered the book and came home. I think it's called The 5, and it's the 5, the stories behind the women murdered by Jack the Ripper. It's quite interesting, so I'm reading that. I'll let you know later whether it's a worthy read or not. It's definitely interesting. And I think that's it, really. I'm listening audiobooks. I'm listening to Comedian. Oh God, that's gone out of my mind now as well. Why am I so useless with names? I just started listening to that, so again, I'll let you know if that was any good. Nothing really much I've watched lately that that's memorable. Netflix or the only non-knitting podcast that I'm enjoying is the Scottish Isle, which is 2 people living on a island in Scotland. Them, 2 cats and 2 sheep, and they're redoing a cottage themselves. It's quite hard work because they can't bring the car to the house. Everything has to be sort of hauled. Everything's very hands-on labour, but it's a beautiful place to live. Very isolated, obviously, but right on the water. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's the worst one. I think it's just called Scottish Isle. And Katie has got the most beautiful voice, and she tells some of the old tales, and she should have a job as a storyteller. I think she's got a beautiful voice, and she's lovely when she tells a story. very into doing things as they used to be done years ago, and taking this cottage back to how it should be, ripping out things that are being very modern that don't suit the cottage at all, ripping those out and doing them and refurbishing. And they're not professional in any way, shape or form. They're learning as they're going, and it's interesting. It's very interesting, and they're nice to listen to, and it's relaxing whilst you're knitting. So I'm really enjoying that. And if you like that sort of thing, definitely worth a watch. And I think that's all of it. I don't think I've got anything else to tell you, or probably bored you all to tears by now. But that's the knitting. That's what's been happening. So I'd like to know what you are knitting on. That might give me some ideas of look at patterns, see what everybody else is making. So hope everybody's well and enjoying what they're knitting on and not having any failures like me. I can't understand that pattern at all. I don't know why. It's really annoying me. Really annoying me, because I'm thinking, why can't I do this? But yeah, it's just something they're not clicking. It's probably very simple, and I'm just not getting it. Hey ho. Rip it out and start again. So take care, everyone. I'd love to hear from you. If you feel like sending a message, let me know what you think about what I'm making. Let me know what you're making, what you're up to, and stay safe and well. Goodbye for now.